You've been using GPT 5.4 since it dropped 2 days ago. You've typed in a few prompts, maybe asked it to write something, and it was good. But if that's all you've done, you've barely scratched the surface, because this model wasn't built to chat. It was built to work. I've spent the last 48 hours going deep on GPT 5.4, the architecture, the benchmarks, the actual API docs. And what I found changed how I think about where AI is headed. There's one capability buried in this release that most people are completely ignoring. And once you see it, the way you use AI will never be the same.
Welcome back to bitbiased.ai, where we do the research so you don't have to. Join our community of AI enthusiasts with our free weekly newsletter. Click the link in the description below to subscribe. You will get the key AI news, tools, and learning resources to stay ahead.
So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what GPT 5.4 actually is under the hood, what makes it fundamentally different from every model that came before it. We're going to walk through the 3 core capabilities you need to understand, live screen demos of the features most people don't even know exist, and a prompting framework that can cut your error rate by 1/3. By the end of this, you'll know how to use 5.4 the way it was actually designed to be used, not as a chatbot, but as a digital coworker. Let's get into it. The end of the chatbot era. Before we get into the features, I need to give you a bit of context, because GPT 5.4 didn't arrive in a vacuum. OpenAI dropped it on March 5th, just 2 days after GPT 5.3 Instant. 2 flagship releases in 48 hours. That's not an accident. That's a deliberate signal about where OpenAI is pointing. The strategy is clear once you see it. GPT 5.3. Instant handles your quick back and forths. It's fast, it's conversational, it's the default. But GPT 5.4, that's the one that's supposed to do actual work, not help you think through work. Do it. And the launch partners tell the whole story. On day 1, Snowflake, Microsoft, and Box all integrated GPT 5.4 directly into their platforms. These are enterprise tools used by companies with thousands of employees who are paid to produce things, briefs, financial models, engineering specs. OpenAI isn't pitching to hobbyists here. They're pitching to the CFO who needs an AI that can be trusted with a deal-critical spreadsheet. But here's where it gets interesting. OpenAI didn't just benchmark 5.4 against other AI models. They introduced a completely new benchmark, GDP-Val, which measures AI performance against 44 real occupations: lawyers, investment analysts, mechanical engineers, registered nurses. And 5.4 didn't just pass. It reached 91% on legal tasks, 87% on financial modeling, 83% on engineering work. Those aren't academic scores. Those are scores against the actual output of working professionals. Let that sit for a second. The 3 architectural pillars. So what actually makes GPT 5.4 capable of that? It comes down to 3 technical pillars that work together in a way no previous model has managed. And I want to walk you through all 3 because understanding them changes how you use the model. Pillar 1, native computer use. This is the big one. Previous models could talk about what to do with your computer. GPT 5.4 can actually use it. The model takes a high-resolution screenshot, identifies the UI elements, buttons, input fields, menus, and then issues real commands, clicks, keyboard input, scrolling. It doesn't need a third-party wrapper. It doesn't need a plugin. The capability is baked in. On the OS World benchmark, which tests AI in real desktop environments, 5.4 scored 75%, up from 47% in the previous generation. That's not an incremental improvement. That's a different category of model. Pillar 2, persistent reasoning via the Responses API. Here's a good analogy. Think about how your working memory functions when you're solving a complex problem. You hold your logic, your conclusions, your half-formed ideas in your head across the whole process. You don't start from scratch on every step. Previous AI models essentially did start from scratch on every call. The Responses API changes that by allowing GPT 5.4 to persist what it calls encrypted reasoning items, its internal chain of thought, across an entire multi-turn workflow. This is what lets the model stay on task across hundreds of steps without drifting from the original goal. Pillar 3. Deferred tool search. This one is genuinely clever and probably the least understood. Historically, if you wanted an AI agent to access a large number of tools, say a CRM, a database, and a set of custom engineering scripts, you had to load the definition for every single tool into the prompt upfront. That consumed tens of thousands of tokens before the model even started working. GPT 5.4 uses deferred loading instead. It sees a lightweight registry of available tools and only fetches the full specification for the tools it actually needs. In testing with 36 active MCP servers, this reduced total token usage by 47% with no loss in accuracy. That's a massive cost saving at enterprise scale, and a signal that OpenAI is thinking seriously about running these agents in production. Computer use in Codex. All right, let's get off the theory and into the actual interface. I'm going to show you the computer use loop in action using the Codex desktop app for Windows. So here's what we're starting with. On the left, I've got the Codex app open and connected to my local dev environment. On the right, there's a browser window running a basic local host site with a broken login button, something you'd realistically run into on a Tuesday afternoon. I give Codex a single high-level instruction. Fix the broken login button on my local host 3000 site. I don't tell it what the bug is. I don't give it any code. I just describe the outcome I want. Watch what happens next. The model asks for permission to capture a screenshot. I click Allow. It takes the screenshot, scans the interface, identifies the button element by its coordinates, then drops directly into my IDE and generates the fix. But here's what makes 5.4 different from what we've seen before. It doesn't stop there. It autonomously refreshes the browser, takes another screenshot to verify the visual state, and only then gives me the confirmation. That's the build, run, verify, fix loop in action. And if the first fix fails, it observes the error, adjusts, and tries a different approach on its own. This is what computer use actually means at the production level. It's not a gimmick. It's a debugging session where you describe the problem in plain English, and the AI handles the rest. Excel and financial intelligence. Now let's shift to the financial professionals watching this, because GPT 5.4 has something specifically for you that I think is going to be a big deal. OpenAI has launched a ChatGPT for Excel add-in, currently in beta, and the features it enables go well beyond basic autocomplete. I'm going to walk you through two of them. The first is AI List. You type a natural language prompt directly into an Excel cell, something like top 10 companies to watch in the US energy sector, and the function generates a dynamic array in real time. That's your first column populated in seconds. But wait until you see this next part. The real test for financial modeling isn't generating a list. It's building a 3-statement model, the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement, where every number has to reconcile. On OpenAI's internal investment banking benchmark, GPT 5.4, thinking improved accuracy on that exact task from 43.7% to 87.3%. Nearly doubled. The workflow that's emerging from the finance teams testing this is to let the model draft the initial model structure, then have the analyst review and refine the edge cases. That's a workflow shift, not just a productivity boost. You can also pull in live data from Dow Jones and FactSet directly into your cells with citations, which, for anyone who's spent an afternoon manually cross-referencing Bloomberg tabs, is a genuinely significant quality of life change. Choosing your model, thinking versus pro. Before we get into the prompting section, let's talk about which version of 5.4 you should actually be using, because getting this wrong means you're either overpaying or leaving performance on the table. GPT 5.4 comes in two flavors, Thinking and Pro. Thinking is the flagship for professional work. Analysts, project managers, lawyers, anyone doing multi-step research or tool-heavy workflows. It's the right choice for 90% of use cases where you need serious reasoning, but don't need to pay premium rates. GPT 5.4 Pro is for the situations where the cost of a mistake is high. High-stakes legal reviews, advanced financial modeling, complex architectural decisions. It uses significantly more compute to think longer before responding, and it's priced accordingly at $30 per million tokens. For most professionals, thinking gets you there. For anyone where a single error has real consequences, Pro is the insurance policy. One more thing to know. There's also an auto setting that dynamically balances between GPT 5.3 Instant and GPT 5.4. Thinking depending on the complexity of your query. For general work, where you're switching between simple questions and deep research in the same session, Auto is actually a smart default. It keeps costs down without you having to manually toggle. The prompting framework that changes everything. All right, this next section is probably the most immediately actionable thing in this entire video, so stay with me. The way most people prompt GPT 5.4 is fundamentally mismatched to how the model actually works. You type in an instruction, you get back an answer, you react to it. That's conversational mode. It's fine for simple tasks, but it's the wrong approach for anything agentic. Because with an agentic model, what you're really doing is deploying a worker. And workers need to know not just what to do, but what done looks like, and what to do when things go wrong. The most effective pattern I've found is what the OpenAI dev team calls a completeness contract. You add a block to your prompt that defines explicitly when the task is complete. Something like, the task is complete only when all 5 source documents have been cross-referenced, every claim is supported by a direct quote with a page number, and if a tool returns an empty result, the agent must try at least 2 alternative search queries before reporting failure. That last part is key. By predefining the failure recovery behavior, you make the model dramatically more persistent. It doesn't stop at the first dead end. Paired with this, you can use a dig deeper nudge, which tells the model to look for second-order issues before finalizing, and an instruction priority block that clarifies which instructions take precedence if there's a conflict. For long agentic workflows where the model might lose track of its original brief, instruction priority is what keeps it on the rails. These 3 patterns together are how you actually extract the 33% hallucination reduction that OpenAI is claiming for 5.4. The model's factual accuracy is better, but structured prompting is what unlocks it. Enterprise safety. What you need to know. One question that always comes up with a model that can operate your computer is, what are the guardrails? And for 5.4, this is worth addressing directly. OpenAI has classified GPT 5.4 as a high cyber risk model, specifically because of the computer use capability. And as a result, they've built in mandatory human-in-the-loop checkpoints for high-impact actions. As a developer, you can configure custom confirmation policies that require user approval before the model executes certain commands. Clicking a delete button, initiating a financial transfer, sending an email. The agentic power is real, but it's not autonomous in the sense that it can silently take consequential actions. There's also a transparency signal worth noting. Researchers found that GPT 5.4 has a low ability to obscure its reasoning, meaning its chain of thought remains legible to external monitors. For regulated industries, legal, financial, healthcare, that's actually a significant compliance advantage. You can audit what the model was thinking before it acted. Here's the bottom line. OpenAI is sunsetting GPT 5.2 on June 5th. The clock is running on legacy model support, and the gap between what 5.4 can do and what earlier models could do is not a gap you want to be on the wrong side of professionally. 3 things to do this week. Switch to the Responses API if you're building anything agentic. Enable tool search to start saving on token costs. And try one completeness contract prompt on a task you've been frustrated with. The links to the developer guides and the prompt templates are in the description. And if you're watching this from somewhere interesting, drop it in the comments. I genuinely want to know where the bit-biased community is tuning in from. Like, if this was useful, subscribe to stay on the frontier, and I'll see you in the next one.